someone had told me a year ago that Sauce Walka and Drake would be back at each other's throats, I honestly wouldn't have believed it. Because if you remember, these two had supposedly squashed everything. There was a handshake in Houston, conversations happened. Fans genuinely believed that years of bad blood had finally been put to rest. But sometimes beef doesn't actually end. Sometimes it just goes silent. And now, because of a leaked phone call, accusations involving a woman, and some of the most emotionally unraveled audio we've heard from a rapper in recent memory, Sauce Walka has gone from looking like an untouchable Houston figure to looking like a man who has completely lost his grip on the situation.
I get Drake smoked. I will get Drake car shot at. I'ma handle y'all. It's that simple. I don't give a what the consequences is.
Why? Yeah, you handle me. You already handle me. So what the matter? You already put your hands on me. You already do all that already. So what the even matter?
I got you jumped by my hoes. I will put my hands on you though, but I didn't. You got jumped by my black hoes. This shit on video.
Yeah, because you had me set up. Are you proud of that? Does that make you feel good?
I will get you jumped again. I don't give a. Just like I get Drake smoked, I will get Drake car shot at. The you better realize who the hell I don't give a. Nobody talking about.
Okay, you need to calm down.
No, I don't need to do nothing.
Yeah.
And to really understand what's happening right now, you have to go back to where it all started. Because this story didn't begin with a leaked phone call. This goes back over a decade. Most people assume this whole situation is about a woman, his baby mama, an OnlyFans model, the personal drama. But that's actually the final chapter, not the first one. The real root of this conflict has always been about something bigger, Drake's relationship with Houston. For years, Drake treated H-Town like a second home. He picked up the slang, collaborated with Houston artists, showed up in the city's clubs, and even held a Houston Appreciation Week. By all appearances, he loved the culture, but Sauce Walka never bought into it. His argument was simple. Drake was taking from Houston without putting enough back in. He felt Drake absorbed the culture, benefited from it, but didn't do enough to actually elevate the artists who built it. That criticism became the foundation of their beef, and Sauce never let it go. Even years later, he was still publicly pointing out that Drake had built major collaborations with Atlanta artists while newer Houston talent largely got overlooked. Cultural borrowing without real hometown investment, that was his core complaint. Then something unexpected happened in 2024. Footage surfaced of Drake and Sauce Walka together in Houston. No tension, no shots being fired, no bad energy on camera. Just two men appearing to move forward. Fans assumed it was over. Sauce himself even spoke about Drake handling conflict like a man, suggesting the issues had been worked through. On the surface, everything looked resolved. But even after that public reconciliation, Sauce kept bringing Drake up. Interview after interview, the conversation somehow always found its way back to Drake.
If you are using the lineage and the culture of somebody's city or somebody's hometown and backyard, do something that helps not yourself and your more of your notoriety for your own benefit with the ladies and the people in the city. Do something that actually makes the economy of that city and music and musicians bigger and greater. So therefore, we can have Rolling Loud in Houston. We can have more young artists performing on bigger platforms, Jimmy Fallon and Jay Leno and all this other shit, because an artist of this magnitude is living in our backyard. That's all I was saying. Not just for me, just for anybody.
Literally living.
And that's usually the clearest sign that something was never truly resolved, when someone keeps circling back to a name they claim to be done with. Then, everything changed almost overnight. Over the past few days, leaked recordings allegedly involving Sauce Walka began spreading across blogs and social media, and the reaction was immediate. These weren't minor clips. The allegations attached to them were genuinely shocking. According to multiple reports, the recordings captured an intense argument involving Kylie, an OnlyFans model and the mother of Sauce Walka's child, and somewhere in the middle of it all, Drake's name came up.
Drake smoked. I will get Drake car shot at. I'ma handle y'all. It's that simple. I don't give a what the consequences is.
Yeah, you handle me. You already handle me. So what the matter? You already put your hands on me. You already do all that already. So what the even matter?
I got you jumped by my hoes. I will put my hands on you though, but I didn't. You got jumped by my black hoes. This shit on video.
Yeah, because you had me set up. Are you proud of that? Does that make you feel good?
I will get you jumped again. I don't give a. Just like I get Drake smoked, I will get Drake car shot at. What the? Man, you better realize who the hell I don't give a. Nobody talking about.
Okay, you need to calm down.
No, I don't need to do nothing.
Yeah.
Some outlets reported the dispute centered around allegations that Drake had become involved with a woman connected to Sauce Walka. Others claimed that threats were made during the conversation. And once those recordings hit the internet, the narrative flipped completely. Suddenly, nobody was talking about Sauce Walka's music or his latest projects. People were talking about how emotional he sounded on that call. They were clowning his bank account after only 3 bands showed up on screen. They were making memes, reposting clips, and that's where the real damage began. Not from Drake, but from the court of public opinion. Here's the thing. Hip-hop has always been competitive. Artists lose women, women leave rappers. That part is nothing new. What's actually hurting Sauce Walka isn't the allegation itself, it's his reaction to it. Because Drake hasn't gone on Instagram Live. Drake hasn't given a single interview about this. He hasn't said a word publicly. And yet, somehow, Drake is still coming out ahead in this situation. Why? Because the story shifted. It went from Drake did something to Sauce Walka to Sauce Walka is reacting emotionally while Drake stays silent. And on the internet, the silent person almost always wins that exchange. This is actually a page straight out of Drake's playbook. People forget how many feuds this man has survived. Meek Mill, Joe Budden, Pusha T, Kanye West, Future, Rick Ross, and depending on who you ask, Kendrick Lamar. The list is long. And through all of it, Drake learned one consistent lesson. You don't have to respond to every attack. Sometimes the smartest move is letting your opponent self-destruct on their own. And that's exactly what makes this situation so fascinating. Drake referenced Sauce Walka in his song Jazz, where he rapped about buying Sauce's baby mama a Maybach. She later posted on Instagram alleging that Sauce damaged the vehicle after finding out about it. The clips are spreading on their own. Drake's fingerprints aren't directly on any of it, yet he's somehow still sitting at the center of the entire story. And that's the biggest problem for Sauce Walka right now. Remember what his brand is supposed to represent. He's one of Houston's most recognized independent success stories, a man who built his career without major label backing, someone who survived a targeted shooting, a guy who has always presented himself as fearless and unbothered. But right now, none of that is part of the conversation. The conversation is about a woman dropping receipts publicly, dismantling his image piece by piece. She even celebrated his Escalade getting repossessed, and that kind of moment is dangerous because public perception can shift faster than people expect. One week you're the boss, the next week you're the punchline. At this point, it feels like Drake and Sauce Walka's own baby mama have done serious damage to his image. But if we're being honest, Sauce Walka may also be doing it to himself. He posted a clip of them hanging out together, and the internet's reaction was immediate. People said he looked completely out of his element. And when your own audience starts laughing at you instead of with you, that's when you know the situation has truly gotten out of hand.
Hold on, Ford.
We don't care about
Which one is who? Ford is the one with the braids. Foster is the one with the dreads. Foster from Texas. That's why niggas put the Foster, and then Ford, he's from New York, New Jersey. I box with Ford. We train together.
Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah, and in Houston. Vegas and Houston. Oh, he talking to him.
Think about where this whole thing started. The original beef was about Houston, about culture, about respect, about who was genuinely putting on for the city and who was just borrowing from it. That was the foundation, a real substantive argument about music and community. And now, it's been reduced to leaked phone calls and allegations involving an OnlyFans model. That's a massive fall from where this all began. And the craziest part of all of this? Drake hasn't had to do a single thing. No diss record, no interview, no public statement. Just silence. And sometimes, silence really is the loudest response in the room. So let's hear it. Did Drake play this situation perfectly, or is Sauce Walka being unfairly judged over something personal that should have never made it to the internet in the first place? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.